Okay. Welcome back to Barneyjmusic. That was a brief smidgen of the second movement, the introduction to the second movement of Help is on the Way, the first orchestral work by the composer himself, Barney B. Johnson. In today's first episode of Gold, Perfectionism, and classical. It has to be pronounced that way. You have to pronounce, if you're going to pronounce the video, that's how I intended it. Now, it's hard this is the word. It's hard to type it like that way, but it's how I want to perform it. My way or the highway. Now, in today's episode, we seek several things. We seek to offend. I know. But we have to put a disclaimer before we offend. Just for good harmony, I don't know if it's required by law, but we want to cover our bases. So we do seek to offend, and we do seek to speak the truth, whatever that means. It means everything. I don't know what that means. Everyone thinks they're speaking the truth, right? But we do want to attract honest people on this channel. Okay, yeah. We've all, lied, killed a man or two, but you know what I mean, okay? Honest people. And we have a very exciting announcement, but first, let me just play this opening again, okay? And I have to admit, because luckily the composer is not watching, that I maybe kind of fudged a couple of things, didn't really follow the dynamics. What that means is the marking. So it said pianissimo, double forte. No, it's forte. So all these nuances we say in French, okay, all these little details were not in that first reading, okay? And remember, this is a work for orchestra, Help is on the Way for orchestra. So what we're performing is kind of like a copy of it. You have the original and you have a copy. So it's not the work itself, it's two-dimensional, but it's just to give you a little aperçu, as we say in French. Okay, so we're going to try it again, and this time the orchestra needs to follow the dynamics, please. Okay. Sorry, I put it wrong. I love this music. I love that music. Okay. I think that is very obvious that I love that music. I love that music. But what you heard was not the actual music, because Help is on the Way for orchestra, as it's said in the title, is for orchestra. Which brings us to the kind of but officiel, as we say in French, or the official kind of surface level point of today's video. Help is on the way. 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 Help is on. Do you feel it? Like, help is on the way. 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 What is help is on the way? Let's take a look in the computer itself. This, what you're seeing before us, is a lovely specimen. Oh, get away. And it's kind of I don't know what to say, like a mock-up or like just a preview of what's to come, okay? Because, of course, Help is on the Way for orchestra is also going to be a score. Yeah, so what you see here is like kind of a book version of the actual experience. Like, ideally, you would come to the premiere of Help is on the Way, right? But here is just a preview of what the score is going to look like. Okay. So again, you have to use your imagination because, the size is different. You have to use imagination. Okay. So my microphone is like about to smack on me. So this, as we can see, is a preview. And I don't know if you can feel the magic just by looking at it in this way, okay? But just to help you feel the magic, and again, once it's in your hands, it's physically in your hands, you'll know what I'm talking about. But one of the things that we really admire in the composer, and the composer did this all himself, okay? One of the things we admire is the sense of spacing, right? Look at the sense of spacing. Okay? Look at this. Look at this. And again, every time this mouse comes here, this mouse destroys my work of art. Look, it's not mine. Well, it's not mine, it's Barney's, but still. We feel like it's ours too because we're working with Barney, the composer of Help is on the Way. 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 Continuing, we see spacing up here. Oof, look at that real estate. Look how spacious. Notice the space here. Notice the space here. I don't know if you can see what I'm saying. Okay. Look at this big space here and this slightly even bigger space over here. And this space over here. And this space over here. Okay. Let me play some music, but I'm going to talk and play, so we'll see how it goes. It's the beginning of Barneyjmusic, right? So some of us wear multiple hats, but high quality living can wear multiple hats. Listen carefully. I do apologize. I played that like a teacher would. Like, da, da. It really like choppy. Did some of you notice that? Bullshit. You would have never noticed I had FN set. You would have just assumed that it sounds lovely every time. But you shouldn't give that benefit of the doubt, right? Is it lovely or not? You knew, okay? You didn't feel a feeling of pleasure this time. I certainly didn't. So if I didn't, Lord have mercy. Again, oboes, 2 oboes in unison, okay? So if you're looking at the screen, you should be following the score. So now you gotta look for the oboes. Well, I don't know about that. Look for the oboes. What do you mean? I don't look for the oboes, okay? They're O's, so look for O's and you'll find oboes. And it's 2 oboes in unison. What that means is 2 oboes playing at the same time. Okay, I don't like it. Again, and kind of taper off at the end of the note. That means do a diminuendo, okay? That was good. Did you hear? That was good. Come on. That was good. I love that nice taper. But notice that the taper, so just, I'll show you where we are. I played this part right here. Let's get a little closer. Oh, I see more information now. This is this here area here, okay? Keep your focus. I'm not going to leave it highlighted, okay? This second layer here from the top. There's layer 1. We're here layer 2. Okay, that's what we're talking about. I don't care if you can't make music. I'm helping you. But I'm not going to help you anymore. I don't help people. It's stupid. So I don't do stupid people, okay? If you are stupid, you have to leave the channel. You leave the channel. Desubscribe if you are stupid. I don't deal with stupid people, okay? Barneyjmusic here. Not necessarily serious stuff, but not austere stuff. Well, let's continue. Going back to this opening, okay, we can see it's the second movement. His second movement is called Hypnosis, okay, but you wouldn't know it just from the beginning because the beginning is very calm, okay. And one thing that we really, really enjoy visually is that there's like this moderato here. But look how big and succulent that is. And keep in mind, we're looking on a computer screen, so it's going to look smaller, right? But if you have this in your own hands, right? If you have Help Is On The Way in your own hand, again, Help Is On The Way, it's not one thing, right? Because you have what you think is Help Is On The Way in your hands because you bought the score, but that's not Help Is On The Way, right? The performance is Help Is On The Way. Ah! Yeah, stop doing stop squawking. Please stop squawking. Okay, and also I forgot to say, no squawking penguins or whatever. It's a bird. That's bird. Whatever. No birds on this channel. No birds. We discriminate against birds. Yes, we are birdist. Okay, no birds. No birds. No squawking. No drama. Okay, the drama is for the composer himself. Okay, so we have moderato. Okay, another moderato here. And what you probably sensed but didn't notice and would have never noticed if we hadn't bothered to inform you. So be very grateful. Okay, and the composer would be a little dismayed if he knew that we were showing, this particular copy because he is not convinced it's perfect and we told him, Barney, it is perfect. He doesn't believe us. So it's this moderato. Okay, right here. And this here, in parentheses, did you know it was created with a font that's slightly smaller? And it creates an agreeable effect, almost as if they're the same height, or the same size, but really they're not. And why? Well, the composer, noticed that at the font, with both the same font, it just felt a little dry. Okay, so just think about when you look at this score, and it will become more obvious, I think, when you have it in front of you. When you have Help Is On The Way, 5 Minutes of Orchestra by Barney B. Johnson, okay, published 2023. When you have it in your arms, like just in before you, right? The balance score, so I don't know. Like this, it's still in publication, so I'm just you have to imagine, but this is like Brahms, okay? Brahms is very heavy. That's a very French joke, by the way. In France, they always, so the first thing the teachers say about Brahms is like, c'est lourd, c'est bon pour travailler, which basically means Brahms is very like German and full, and is okay. So going back to Help Is On The Way. So we look here in screen. Okay, and look at the sense of space just from this perception. And I want to go a little bit further in so we can see how that sense of space kind of, just go out a little bit. These increments are very random. Okay, we'll take it at that. So notice here, we have an idea. Where's my taper? I have to do it. If the performance isn't perfect, I have to redo it. That's perfectionist, but Barney is a perfectionist when it comes to composition, and I get to be a perfectionist when it comes to the performance. So I have to redo it. Of course, for the final concert, or the first concert of Help Is On The Way, 5 Movements for Orchestra, we won't stop just because it's an error. Okay, I'm doing it. Okay, I just wanted to tune. I just wanted to tune. Can can you sing that note? It will sound different live. It'll probably sound even higher. And it's not a high note, but it's like very warm. And I don't know if you get that impression even just looking at the score. There's this kind of gregarious feeling in the music. And in the visual representation of music, which is the score. You kind of feel this gregarious, don't you? I don't know. I spoke with others, and they seem to agree, though, that there's a sense of space here, right? Let's go back out a little bit. Look at this sense of space, right? And look at all this space over here, okay? Now, we could have fit, actually, double the amount of information, quote unquote, like musical information on this page. But Barney said, I understand that would make it cheaper to produce, but we don't do cheap here at Barneyjmusic. We do high luxury living. Okay? And that's, of course, a process, not a state. You fool. And, of course, no fools on my channel. Well, we're all a fool, so I'll take you for some time. Okay, so going back to Help Is On The Way, 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 Help Is On The Way. We see immense space over here because the composer recognized that the score, which you're looking at is a score, or rather it's a copy of the score. The real score, when you have it in your hands, it'll be weight, you'll feel the paper. There's a physical aspect as well to the score. But the composer felt it was necessary to have a sense of space. So even though it would have been, quote, cheaper to, fill up every second with, fill as much information, he feels very strongly, because he's still working on the preparing the pages, that a sense of space is necessary throughout. And when in doubt, give more space. Okay. So that is something to think about when you purchase Help Is On The Way for Orchestra, okay? When you purchase Help Is On The Way for Orchestra, it is not a stale document from a museum. What you're seeing right here, yes, absolutely, is a stale document, okay? The beauty that is in this work of art, first of all, you have to hear live. You have to watch it. You have to watch it live, not hear it live. Watch it. You have to feel. It's watching, hearing. It's everything, okay? Of course, that's the ideal. But for now, we are preparing the work itself for publication. And we are very, very thoroughly impressed with the craft, the workmanship, the artistry, and just the change that has taken place in this work. To give an example, I hope I don't find some material I'm not supposed to find. I will show you an earlier version of that same opening. I hope. So here we have the same opening. Okay, I'm just gonna play right-handed. Okay. Well, where are we? Well, you know where we are. It's the second from the top, right? One layer, two. So we're right here, and we see one idea. Da da dum ba. Right. High for the male voice. Da 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 da. So that's the second idea. Idea one, idea two. And of course, we see another idea. Idea one, idea two. So don't tell me you can't read music, because it's very obvious. I can do more. No, I'm not going there. But I'd be very upset if he knew that I took this detour. Very upset. Okay, very upset. So this is where the piece was. Look at this, right? This is an earlier version. All the musical information is, of course, the same, but this is an early version because look at the formatting, okay? Look, I mean, he tried with like cursive, and it is interesting on its own, but when you compare it to the other one, no way, right? Look, there's more information, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Okay, so it's definitely cheaper. Okay, it would be cheaper to print. But what? It certainly can't compare to what we showed you. Okay, now this will not, when you purchase Help Is on the Way for Orchestra, which we hope will be very soon, it won't be this, right? This is, okay, so I just be very clear. Okay, we're trying to improve this. The composer is happy, but he's not sure if it's perfect. And we said, Barney is perfect. It's perfect. Barney is perfect. It's perfect. We'll be done. But he's not totally sure it's perfect. Okay, so he's double checking to make sure it's perfect. And we're like, Barney is perfect. But keep in mind that this is one page. Okay, now let's go to okay, great. I was really worried we were like overboard in time, but we're doing really, really well. The first movement, I want to okay, no, I can't show you. It looks really beautiful though. Okay, fine. I will show you. The first movement I'm not going to play because I played it already in the Harmony for the General Public video I did. The first story, Harmony is a story. So I'm not going to play that again, but I will just show you the score. Oh no. You all saw that. It disappeared. How do I go back? Okay, there we go. I will show you where we're at with the first movement. Okay, and again, it's not the same. Once you have Help Is on the Way before you, it's going to be very different, but this is where we're at. This is the composer's favorite version so far. Okay, so there are 5 movements to Help Is on the Way, and he just finished designing the first page of every movement, because the first page is like the opening, so you want always a nice opening, so this is the page 1 of the whole work, of Help Is on the Way for Orchestra. This is movement 1. And I mean, we admire first and foremost the sense of spacing. The composer was very cognizant of the spacing. It was all intentional. Okay, maybe a little bit for chance, we don't know, but definitely was intentional. If you look here, we have 2 nice, generous spacings here. Boom, boom. Again, oh my God, the environment. No, this is greater than the environment. Greater than the, okay, that makes no sense. But we're talking about high luxury art now. Okay, we're not talking about cheap, made for use. Okay, that's what's cheap. Things made for use, that's cheap. No. Help Is on the Way did not need to be produced. It was produced for fun, aka for no reason. No reason. We ask the composer, there's no reason. He does have a surface level reason, but that's not the point of the video. Look at the spacing. In addition, look at what's going on up here. We have Help Is on the Way for Orchestra. 1, a safe home. And notice how the end of home kind of leads us down to Barney B. Johnson. That leads us to the music on the edge. All intentional. Now, there is a debate currently in session, and it is very, very heated, very political. Very political in the office right now. Very political time. There are some who are saying that this line causes stress, could cause stress to the reader or the consumer, or whoever chooses to use Help Is on the Way, or to view it, or to look at it, or to experience, whatever. That this line itself is stressful because it's actually cutting into the I, into the A, and it's just people getting stressed out. So they're saying it needs to be removed. Others are saying just it can keep going, but just to the Y here. And others want the removal completely of the line. So we have the extremists on the left, we have the center, and we have the far right. Okay, or the extremists. Well, whatever. Okay, far extremists, the same thing. The same thing. But yes, that will be decided very soon. Now, again, I did play this, but I want to play it again to see if those who had already heard this opening performed in harmony for the general public. First video was Harmony is a Story. Is that what it was? I hope so. Those of you who have already watched the video, you know what you have in your head, but maybe it'll be different. Let's see. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Do not tell Barney. Do not tell Barney. Don't tell Barney. Don't tell Barney. Don't tell. I made some major errors at the end. I just lost concentration. You heard that one note. It was like, that was a fart. There's no way. I'm not, you can't undo that. That was a complete fart. And then I was in the wrong register. It was horrible. So I would prefer that you watch the composer himself in the previous video, which was, of course, I forget. It was something to the effect of Harmony is a Story. Harmony. It was a Harmony for general public. Harmony is a Story. History is a story. I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. You can find it. So that was the first movement. We didn't want to dwell too much on it because we already looked at it. But let's move on to the fourth movement. Okay. Now, something we haven't revealed and will reveal right now is that the work Help Us on the Way for Orchestra in 5 movements by Barney B is actually in 2 parts. So there'll be a pause in the performance. And I don't think it'll be long enough to go to the bathroom, and you won't want to when you know what's going to happen in this work. But it'll be, just a moment just to relax, before it gets real juicy, or rather very dramatic. Okay. So part 1 is going to be called the calm. Of course, naturally you look for the opposite. What's the opposite of calm? Well, terror. So after the pause, and I'm talking about the concert version. Now, when you buy Help Is on the Way for Orchestra, when you purchase it, rather, you may just kind of glance through the pause, thinking it's not important. But there is a rumor going around that, in fact, the pause is the most important part of the work, Helps on the Way for Orchestra. But do not say it's a conspiracy theory. It's a conspiracy theory. And it has not made its rounds to the composer, but it is getting closer and closer by the day. And we're very worried that he may find out that people think the most important part of his work is the part where it's silent. So please do not tell Barney that people are saying that that's the most important part of the whole work, is that silence. Let's check on time. Wow, we're doing really good. We're doing awesome at time. I'm really shocked. I think we have time for one more. And yes, we're doing the Terror. The 5th movement, which is called The Great Rescue, he's still not happy with the presentation. And we're like, Barney, it's not perfect, but it's really, really, really good. And he's, no, it has to be perfect. So we won't shoot the 5th. And the 3rd is actually quite beautiful, but it's very different from the others. So we might have to change it. So let's take a look at the 3rd movement, actually. Again, this is Help Is on the Way is being prepared for publication. We're not sure of an exact ouverture, as we say in French, but we hope to be certainly before start of summer season 2023. But, just stay tuned and ye shall be informed. Ye, yes, we're moving at ye. So, the 3rd movement, which may be the composer's favorite movement for the moment, just for the moment, okay, looks like this. Okay. Again, a beautiful sense of spacing, but the composer still feels a little claustrophobic. And we're not sure why he feels claustrophobic, but he says he feels claustrophobic. He says he likes the top, especially this line. And then it gives space, and then there's third movement, the elephants. He loves that. He loves his name right there. Maybe he wishes it was a little more tucked under the S. Barney, relax. But the composer says there's not enough space. We're like, Barney, what are you talking about? This is the lowest size. Notice how this is, everything's smaller than the other one, but it feels like there's not enough space. We're like, Barney, that's not possible.